Hey y'all, Dr. Wells here from St. Augustine Beach. Got our second part here on the supplement that every PT and rehab professional needs to know more about, and that's collagen. So our first part, we talked a little bit about muscle recovery, particularly after heavy resistance training, how it can help improve not only biochemical factors, but it also can help with improving counter movement jump. Today, we're gonna look at an awesome systematic review by Khatri, that's Khatri et al. From 2021. It's a little bit older study, but it's a systematic review, so it looks at like kind of all the evidence for collagen. And what I'm going to say is, if you only have time to read one article, this would be the article to read. It doesn't include some of the more recent studies, but really gives us some insight. And particularly today, we're going to look at body composition. There are individuals, personal trainers and strength coaches that tell their patients and their athletes, hey, you really need to be taking collagen to improve your lean muscle mass, to bulk up. And a lot of times I wonder how much of that is actually true, right? Because we know collagen is a polypeptide, right? It has amino acids, particularly glycine and things. So there is some probably anabolic effect, right? So just thinking out loud, in my own practice, I have not recommended the use of collagen to gain muscle mass. And I'm interested to hear from you all if any of you PTs or strength coaches have utilized it in your practice, because I just haven't seen the effects in that way. Particularly a lot of my recommendations for these individuals for collagen, usually those individuals are already doing resistance training, so it's kind of hard to tell, right? But according to Khatri et al., they looked at several studies, right? And so with that, they typically look at systematic reviews, as many studies as they can, and they found 4 or 5 really good studies. And what they found, there's some modest changes, and really to optimize any really changes in body composition, you really have to pair it with resistance training. And that makes sense. It's kind of like what we see with protein supplementation. Like just taking protein alone doesn't always make significant changes for body composition. But when you partner with the resistance training, it's like adding fuel to the fire, right? So what they found is overall, it's kind of similar to supplementing with whey protein. You see some benefits, particularly if you're sarcopenic, particularly if you're needing like physical therapy. So again, in our rehab world, typically what they've seen in one study was about 15 grams for 12 weeks. They saw an increase in fat-free mass by about 4.2 kilograms. That's a pretty significant amount. But again, they partnered that collagen intake with resistance training. So with physical therapy, with exercise. So if you're obese, particularly if in this study it said if you're obese, and particularly if you're a female that's obese, you might actually need, might be better for you in terms of taking collagen, the whey might be better for you than taking the collagen. But the big thing at the end of the day, I think the summary that we need to see is collagen is probably not your go-to if you're trying to change a person's body composition. If you are going to see body composition changes, it's going to be with resistance training, and it's probably going to be with other dietary changes. And with that in mind, take a look at our courses. We have a 3-part certified nutritional physical therapy course. We just added a bonus add-on, which is our supplement guide for rehab professionals. It goes over some nice research around supplements. It's evidence-based, and it has some nice handouts so you can stick it in your binder or snapshot it and put it in your phone or your wallet. So anyhow, like, subscribe, and stay tuned for part 3 coming up soon.